Hello, my loves. I'm really excited because this week we are going to be learning about, can you guess? Dinosaurs! Yay! So we're doing the Studies Weekly dinosaur newspaper. I'm so excited. So I'm going to read to you a story about dinosaurs. So let me share my screen. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So we have a book called Allosaurus and its relatives. The need to know facts. Now here's something that I think you need to know. Allosaurus. Allosaurus means the strange lizard. And it's one of my favorite dinosaurs because Allosaurus, Allison, it's kind of one of my nicknames. And I think it's really cool that it's called the strange lizard, and I would be like the strange teacher, which I love. So let's start this book. All right, Allosaurus and its relatives, the need to know facts. All right, here's what's really cool about this is they actually tell you the pronunciation of these words. So we've got the Acrocanthosaurus, the Acrocanthosaurus. And you notice that the ACK is all in caps, and then the KAN is in caps, and then the SOR is in caps. That tells you that you're supposed to put emphasis on those parts of the word. So it's Acrocanthosaurus. Acrocanthosaurus. One more time. Acrocanthosaurus. And its name means high-spined lizard. Okay? And the time period is the early Cretaceous. Its length is about 35 feet. It's 11 meters long. And the weight is 4.4 metric tons. And again, metric, and then we've got our tons. A little bit different, obviously. You've got 4.9 tons, but they're pretty similar. And it is a carnivore, so they eat meat. And the physical features, it has a sail down its back, sharp claws and teeth, and it has sharp, strong legs. So what we have here is not the Acrocanthosaurus. That's this guy. This is a hadrosaur. So the Acrocanthosaurus was as long as the Tyrannosaurus rex, but it weighed less. And only 4 of these skeletons have been found so far. I wonder where they were found. If only 4 were found, maybe they only liked to be in one type of area. The Acrocanthosaurus lived in the forests and swamps of what is now the USA, in Oklahoma, Texas, and Utah. Well, that answered my question. So, where you see on the map in orange, that's where the dinosaur lived. And the Acrocanthosaurus's eyes faced to the side, and it cocked its head to one side to see prey. So like you see a bird tilt its head, that's what they did. Now we've got the Allosaurus. The Allosaurus's name means strange reptile, and it lived during the late Jurassic period. And it was 28 feet long and weighed 3 tons, so a bit bigger than this Allosaurus. It was a carnivore, and it had a long tail, curved claws, and traveled on 2 legs. So obviously it's not this little guy who's walking on 4 legs. It would be this one and this one. These are the Allosaurus. And Allosaurus was the most common dinosaur in North America during the late Jurassic period. And paleontologists believe that Allosaurus may have hunted in packs, and a pack would have to be able to work together in order to kill large prey. The Allosaurus lived on plains in what is now North America. Well, that's pretty much everywhere, right? Oh my goodness. At the Cleveland Lloyd Quarry in Utah, USA, scientists have found baby Allosaurus fossils that are the size of dogs. Oh, baby. Well, the size of dogs, we've got little dogs and big dogs. I'd rather have a little bit more information about that. All right, we had the Allosaurus, And its name means Auca lizard, and it's named after Auca Mohuevo, which is the site where it was discovered. So sometimes they name dinosaurs for what they look like. Sometimes they name dinosaurs for where they're found. Sometimes they name dinosaurs based off of who found them. And what's interesting is the names can tend to mean different things. For instance, there's a dinosaur called the Oviraptor, and we learned about that, like the ovum, right? That's the egg. So it was called the egg dinosaur because every time they dug up this dinosaur's fossils, there were eggs nearby. So when this dinosaur was first discovered, scientists thought that its main source of food were eggs because it's always around eggs. So they're like, oh, he must be eating eggs. But then about maybe 40 years later, scientists started thinking, it's a little too common for these dinosaurs to be around eggs. I don't think they're eating all the time. Every time they die, they're eating. So scientists started rethinking their theory. And now they believe that this is a dinosaur that protected its eggs. And remember, we learned about the differences. Turtles, tortoises, they don't protect their eggs, but birds do. So they were thinking that this dinosaur, the Oviraptor, probably protected its eggs at the nest. And that's why they saw the Oviraptors so often near those eggs. So even as a scientist, they just have these thoughts, these ideas that are backed up, by proof. They have the fossil record, but they're interpreting because they're not there. They haven't seen it. They have no idea what's going on. Well, they do have some based on the records, but they don't know for sure. So at first they thought, oh, they eat all the eggs, but now they're thinking, they're protecting their eggs. So there's still a lot to learn. So here, the Allosaurus, it lived in the late Cretaceous period, and it's about 18 feet, 1,500 pounds. So relatively small compared to the Allosaurus. And it's also a carnivore. So remember, this book was about Allosaurus and its relatives. So far, the three dinosaurs we've been talking about are all carnivores. So I'm thinking, they all kind of looked alike. They walked on 2 feet. They looked very similar. And the Allosaurus was a fast runner, and it could chase prey at high speeds. And the Allosaurus is one of the best known meat eaters. All of its bones have been found except for the ones at the end of its tail. So it's almost a complete dinosaur. So here's the Allosaurus, and look where it lived. It lived on the plains of what is now Argentina. And it had very short arms. Its hands were not able to reach each other. So, at a quick glance, you would think that this is very much like a T-Rex. So I wonder if they are related. All right, we've got the Baryonyx, and its name means heavy claw. And I like his little nose. Looks like an alligator. So the Baryonyx lived in the early Cretaceous period, and it's 32.8, almost 33 feet long in average. And he's a big guy. He's 1.3 tons, and he's a carnivore. Oh, look at his physical features. Long crocodile-like jaw and teeth. Big claw on each hand. In 1983, fossil hunter William Walker found the first Baryonyx bone. He unearthed a 25 centimeter or 10-inch long claw. Wow, just a claw. So think about like your ruler. Your ruler is 12 inches. So his claw was almost as long as that ruler. And the Baryonyx lived near the waters of what is now England and Spain. Partially digested fish bones, scales, and the bones of a baby iguanodon were found inside Baryonyx. Wow. And scientists nicknamed the first Baryonyx specimen Claws. I like how he's walking around on the beach in this picture. That's pretty funny. But it does make sense because if he was found near the waters, so he was probably walking around on the water. And also, he had a baby iguanodon, and iguanodons tend to be near water. Well, this is a name. Carcharodontosaurus. 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 Okay. And it's the shark-toothed lizard. And it lived in the late Cretaceous period. He was 40 feet, over 6 tons. Again, carnivore. And he has a large jaw to swallow its prey whole. Wow. And he had a larger skull than T-Rex, but his brain was smaller. So his head is bigger than T-Rex, not as smart. But you know what? It makes sense that he's got a big head because he's got that large jaw, and then he swallowed his prey whole. And where did he live? Oh, he lived in the deserts and swamps of what are now Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, and Niger. I forgot how to say that name. Let me go back. Let me see it. Carcharodontosaurus. Okay. There he is. Carcharodontosaurus had knife-like teeth that are about 8 inches long. And his skull is about 5 feet long. I'm 5 feet 3 inches. So his skull is as big as I am. Wow. Oh, look at this fancy one. The Cryolophosaurus. Cryolophosaurus. And it means frozen crested lizard. So he's only 20 feet, 800 pounds, kind of small in comparison. Again, a carnivore, sharp teeth. I'm seeing a pattern. Carnivores have sharp teeth. They usually have claws. And physical features, sharp teeth, and a crest on top of its head. And it was one of the biggest meat-eating dinosaurs on Earth during the early Jurassic period. And the Cryolophosaurus skeleton was found with rib bones near its throat. And at first, scientists thought the dinosaur died choking on another animal's bones. But later, scientists learned the ribs belonged to that dinosaur. So again, see, the scientists, they're always learning new things. And where did he live? The Cryolophosaurus, his crest resembled a hairstyle worn by Elvis Presley. So some scientists nicknamed him Elvisaurus. And he lived in the forests of what is now Antarctica. We don't have forests there anymore. Wow. That's really cool. Well, there's a lot more. We're only halfway through this book, but if you want to finish the book, you're going to have to go to myon.com and you're going to finish reading that, okay? What I have in store for us this week is I'm kind of curious to know if you were to discover a dinosaur, what would you name it? Would you name it based on its characteristics or where you found it? Like, for instance, the Hollywood Saurus, that would be kind of funny. It sounds like a movie. Or would you name it after yourself? What would it look like? Or if you went to sleep tonight and you woke up as a dinosaur in the morning, what kind of dinosaur would you be? Would you be carnivorous and eat meat? Or would you be an herbivore and eat plants? Would you live by the water? Would you be on the open plains? Would you like forest land or marshland? And what's interesting is where you live and what you eat determines what your body looks like, your adaptations. So you're going to have strong, sharp teeth if you eat meat. And you're gonna have claws. And interesting, if you lived near like the marshland and by water, you would have feet that are adapted for walking through that wet soil and that wet sand. So you might have webbed feet, sort of like a frog, rather than more like a lizard. So let me know. Email me, maybe draw a picture, something like that. Let me know what would happen. You can even write me a story. That would be really cool. Hi, I'm over here now. Okay, so for this week on Science Studies Weekly, we are going down to week 7, Life Science Prehistoric Life. And it's loading. My computer's loading. Still loading. Okay, well, while that's happening, what you have this week are 24 questions. And I'm not sure if last week only had 24. It might have. You know what? I'm going to double check and I'll let you know. So that means by the time you're watching this video, if I was right, I had already fixed it. So don't worry about it. But it is only 24 this week. So in order for you to get those 30 questions, you're going to have to, is it 24? Yes, it's 24. So in order to get those 30 questions, you're going to have to read how many bonus questions? But I'm not standing here for no reason. I want you to tell me the answer. To get 30 questions. Yes, thank you. Someone finally gave me the right answer. I'm just teasing you. So yeah, you need to answer 6 of those bonus questions. So because 24 plus 6, we've got 30. Okay, so here is your newspaper, Discovering Dinosaurs. Heads up, right here, one of my favorite paleontologists, Robert Bacher. He is pretty amazing, and he's kind of different than a lot of paleontologists. He thinks different than they do. He has some different theories, which is really interesting. And there are more and more amazing articles, and please make sure that you go through those bonus sources. Also for this week, just like last week, read the articles, answer the questions, then do the crossword puzzle, and then do the misspelled words, okay? So first, read, answer those questions, and really understand what's going on. And these this bonus content, these bonus sources are really good, but don't stop there. I mean, go to YouTube, find some great videos. If you're interested in Bob Bacher, you can research him and learn about some things. He was actually called in to be a part of Jurassic Park, and he kind of told them how dinosaurs behave and things like that. So he's pretty important. He's a pretty cool guy. And that's what you're going to be doing this week. So again, every day you go to my webpage and you watch my video, and I'm going to tell you what your lessons are for today. So for today's lessons, we just read the story. If you want to finish the story, I put the link already on this page. And then I want you to start reading these articles and looking at that bonus source, okay? I'm going to give you a little extra time. We're starting the reading early this week. Some of you didn't quite get through all of it. I want to make sure that you do, because this is really good stuff, and this is what's going to get you prepared for 6th grade. Okay, so make sure you're following instructions and doing all of those activities, all of those assignments. Okay, so luckily when we were talking about rocks and minerals, we had a chance to talk about how fossils are formed, and you got to see some of my really cool fossils. So I want to just remind you about what a fossil is. A fossil it's the remains of an ancient living thing that died and was covered up by sediment. Remember, sediment is all the little broken pieces of rock and soil, and they settle. And the soft parts of an animal decompose, they break down quickly. But things like shells and bones, they dissolve very slowly. And those shells and bones, when they dissolve, they leave pockets in the rock. So they're leaving almost like a mold in the rock. And then minerals that are dissolved in water, they come seeping in, and where those holes are, where those empty spaces are, the minerals get deposited there little by little, and eventually they fill up the space, and then they harden. So over millions of years, pressure and sediment above that's pushing down, they turn those minerals into stone. Okay, so that's what we need to be thinking about when we're reading the newspaper, that all of the evidence that we're getting is from the fossil record. It's from fossils. We don't know exactly what color the dinosaurs were. Were they blue or green or things like that? A lot of the pictures that you're looking at are just kind of the ideas of scientists and artists. And they're going on the idea that, well, this is what an alligator looks like, and this dinosaur looks similar to an alligator, so it might look this way. I mean, we don't know. They could be, purple polka dot. But, going by what we see in nature, in regards to reptiles, we're kind of guessing more of like, you know, the greens and the browns and things like that, okay? So I want you to get that beautiful imagination of yours going, and as you're reading, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and take down some notes. Things like, hey, I want to look into this, or I want to learn more about that. Here's a cool dinosaur that I want to research. And also I want you to think about, if you were a dinosaur, what kind of dinosaur would you be? Okay. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Love you.